Greetings, Your Excellencies. I am Precious Osinako, and I'm your host for the Peacemakers Hub. We're still on a series on family and family life. We've always said that people are different and they have a right to be different. This is because no personality type is better than the other. Some of the advantages of knowing our personality type is that we're better able to relate with ourselves and with others. We're better able to, amplify our strength and, of course, manage our weaknesses. The issue of personality type also come to play in marital relationships, and that's why today we're talking about the impact of personality type on marriage relationship. To have this conversation with me today is Mrs. Kim Samantha Onazi, who is a legal practitioner and a senior state counsel at the Ministry of Justice, Kaduna. She's married with 2 children. She's a lover of music and justice. Thank you, Mrs. Kim, for having us. I appreciate you.
Okay.
Yes, so could you tell us some of the impact personality type and communication styles have on in marriage relationship?
Okay. I'll want to start by making us to understand what we mean by personalities.
Okay.
Definition of a personality. What do we actually mean by personality? And then what do we mean by communication? So that when we get into the question itself, we'll be able to discuss in the context of what we are talking about. Now, when you're talking of personality, we're talking of a combination of different characteristics that makes up an individual. For example, you hear people talking about, they say, oh, this lady has a bubbly personality. Now, there are different characteristics that makes that lady bubbly, and so people want to be with her. And then somebody will tell you, this person has a harsh personality. Now, there are certain characteristics that are also distinctive that makes such an individual to be categorized in such a manner. And for communication basically is the dispensing of information to individuals in different forms.
Okay.
There are different types of communication. People communicate in different ways, and there are actually different types of communication. But the key word is passing information. That is basically what communication is about. Now, when you talk about the impact of personality and
communication styles, yes, in marriage relationship.
For me, these things have everything to do with marriage. They are the core of marriage. Before I continue, it's important to say that, of course, I'm no expert in marriage. I'm 6 years in the institution, and of course, I'm also learning. And part of what I'll be talking about is based on things I've seen as a lawyer in court, where, of course, matrimonial causes come up. Some of the things to see, my own personal experience, experience of friends are the rest. These are things that will come up in the process of this conversation.
Okay.
So when we talk about the impact, for me, it has everything to do with it. Let me start with the issue of personality now. Psychologists have been able to place personality types into 5.
Okay.
Yes. And these personality traits are basically traits that, like I said earlier, define individuals. One of the personality traits we have is the openness. There's the openness. We have the conscientiousness. We have the extraversion. We have the trait that is agreeableness. We have the one that is neuroticism. I'll explain each of them. For the openness, there are individuals whose personality traits, as the word open means, is they are people that are open to everything, open to new ideas, open to new experiences. They are adventurous. They are people that are creative, They are open to new ideas. They are not people who do not want to delve into territories that they are not familiar with. And then you have the other one that I talked of, which is the conscientiousness. Now you find people in this category. There are people who are basically organized people. There are people who are detailed. They are not the people that you give them appointments for 2 o'clock and then they'll do African time, come at 2:30. Those
Mm,
people, they do not fall
mm,
in that category. They are
mm,
very organized. We have the extraversion people. These ones are the sociable people. The ones that life of the party, like we always say.
mm.
When they go to places, they
Mm,
are the ones, they are the talkers, people that talk a lot. They
mm,
want to be noticed. They have this energy wherever they are. When the place is dull, when they come in, the place comes alive. Now those are
mm,
people that psychologists have put under the traits of the extra. That's why the word is like that, extraversion. Then we have those who are the agreeableness. Those ones are the ones that are, they're usually kind, usually sensitive to the feelings of people. They are very, for them, everything about they are, what people say about them matters a lot to them. That's the category they fall under. And then we have the neuroticism, sorry. These ones are the ones that are moody people. They are reserved, they are moody. Now in marriage, I've taken time to
mm,
define these traits.
mm,
These are
mm.
individuals that at the end of the day come, one
So
person
marry.
might come into, and they get
Yes.
married.
Mm,
Now at the end of the day, how do you, now let me use for example the neuroticism. Imagine two people with those traits getting married. And it could actually happen. Most times we talk of the fact that opposites attract. What if the opposite this time around does not attract? you know,
Yeah.
it's actually people that are of
Mm,
the same traits that gets married.
mm.
Then also that of the opposite that also gets married.
Attract. Mm,
Yes. How do they go along? So that's where the issue of the impact, and for me, that's where the
mm,
issue of communication also
mm,
comes in.
mm,
Communication on its own also, it's a different angle entirely. I will marry them because they are key, they work hand in hand together.
mm.
We need to
True.
understand a person's traits before we even start talking about the issue of communication among them. Now
Mm,
people communicate in different ways. Communication has also been developed.
mm,
Sometimes it doesn't even have to do with the traits. There are people, there might be somebody who is probably whose traits might be, maybe, let me say, somebody who is open.
mm,
And when it comes to issues of marriage, the person, no, let me even use the one, somebody who is neuroticism. This is somebody that on a normal day is moody, but it could be that
mm,
when it comes to the issue of marriage, the person maybe has made it a point to say, okay, in this issue of marriage, if there's anything, if there's a problem, there's an issue, the person speaks out. Maybe I don't want this, I don't like that. And then the other person just listens and does not say anything. For some people, the way they communicate is just to be quiet.
mm,
And then the other person that's, maybe the person is expecting a positive communication. And
mm.
then this person is reserved. There's bound to be frustration. And the
True.
problem with reserved communication is it gives room for a lot of assumptions.
Mm,
Lots of assumptions. Somebody has not said, you might misinterpret somebody's silence for arrogance, or maybe he
mm.
doesn't care, or maybe she doesn't care, or maybe she thinks I'm just talking. She doesn't, oh, I'm blabbing rubbish. Because why will I talk? I'm expressing my feelings to you, and you're
And
not
you're
saying
just
anything.
keeping
You're
quiet.
just keeping quiet. Are you even listening? Are you even
Mm,
understanding? Do you even understand the pain where I come from? And it might be that, honestly, that's just the person's style of communication. I will
mm,
use myself. I said I will use that. I'll use myself
mm,
as an example. Early in marriage, my husband, even till now, is something I struggle with. I'm not
mm,
the type of person that, when something comes up, it's not something I'm not happy about it. At that time, I might just be quiet because I'm angry and I don't want to, say something I'll regret. But later I'll be like, babe, this is what you did. This is that. Most times my husband is not the person that will say, okay, oh, is this it? Is this that? So then I used to be frustrated. I'll be like, me, I've poured out my mind. I've told you this. You've not said anything. Until one day he told me that, look, me, I'm not like you. When you say things like this, like I have to
Process them.
process it. My husband can, like, after 2-3 days, you'll be like, okay, this thing that you said, this is this is that. But then, at the beginning, I used to feel, oh, he doesn't, okay, he just thinks, oh, maybe, oh, you even think I'm nagging. Oh, I'm nagging now because I'm telling you, until he explained to me that, look, I'm not the fast thinker. I'm not the, unlike the way you see, okay, professional, like, look, this is different. I need to process it. And so in marriage, now all these things, they impact marriage. But for me, in all of this, having talked about
The
personality
personality
traits
types and
and
communication styles.
communication, for me,
Mm,
communication in every marriage is key. For me, it's the
mm,
core of every relationship,
mm,
because that is where, if you have two people living in a house or two people living in a room, and one person does not know what the other person is thinking about or
mm,
what the other person is feeling, there are times that you might use words.
mm.
Some people are very jovial, and then they
True.
will joke what we call expensive jokes. There are
Mm,
people who will just take it, it's normal, it's a joke. But for some people, it's something that goes to the core.
mm,
If you have a spouse who is not like that, and to you it is a joke, and then the spouse doesn't see it like that, it becomes a problem. So for
mm,
me, all these things it's important that in marriage, people first of all understand each other's personality
mm,
traits. We can marry this issue of personality traits, standing the personality traits of your spouse
mm,
in the long run will determines what type of impacts you have in a marriage. It can be positive impacts, it might be negative impacts. If, as a husband, you understand that the trait of your wife is
mm,
she's the outgoing type, the
mm,
extraneous type, there are ways, and then you understand, you take time to also study how she communicates. There
mm.
must be a balance. You need to find, you can't, you need to understand that, okay, this is this person.
Yeah.
This is the way this person is.
Is.
You cannot change the person overnight.
Mm,
So you need to, if you have that understanding of how this person communicates, it makes it easy. If the person is the type that maybe processes, like I said, like my husband, after some days, and maybe you are like me, that you say your own like that, you you know you
yeah. Mm,
you understand, you will not get angry when you've spoken. You know that, okay, after some days, I know he has listened, he's
mm,
listening ahead.
mm.
After some days, he will get back to me on this.
Okay.
But at the same time, that is where there should also be understanding.
Mm,
For the other partner again, you should not say, oh, because this is me.
mm-hmm.
Yes, this is you. We know that this is you. But it does not mean
Mm,
that you cannot adjust
true.
for the purpose of making this
Why
marriage
you're in
work.
the yes, yes.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm glad you're saying all these things, because before you came on, I had said something that people are different and they have a right to be different, and that no
Yes,
personality type is better than the other. And
exactly.
one of the good things, or why we should learn or know our personality type, is to help us, we know our strengths, we have amplified them, and then we are
Mm,
also better able to manage or work on our weaknesses,
yes.
because the largest room in the world really is the room for improvement. So you can't go about chatting or saying, I'm this, I'm like this is me, this is me. And
Mm,
I mean, if you really
yes.
want to have a healthy relationship with other people, then when you understand that, okay, these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, how can I amplify my strength? How can I
Mm,
play down my weakness so that we can have,
exactly.
something beautiful together? Yes.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly. So the last part of communication I didn't mention is the
mm,
violence communication. the one that you and I do not want, because violent communication can come in different ways. It doesn't have to be physical. But how can physical, for some people, that's, which for me, it's a problem. For some people, maybe who have come from some dysfunctional homes, they will tell you, there are people that will tell you that beating, I've heard people say that if my husband does not beat me, I don't feel he loves me. That's
Wow.
dysfunctional thinking. For some people, it's like the example I gave. It might be gestures or like the jokes that I talk about. Those are violent forms of communication that is not healthy. It's not healthy at all for marriage. So, like you said, no personality is good, no personality
It's bad.
but they can complement each other. They
True.
can balance
True.
each other. That is what marriage is about. That's why when we talk of marriage is a partnership, I'm bringing some of my strengths, my weaknesses. You are bringing your own together. We are working things out. I'm drawing from your strengths. You are drawing from my own strengths. I'm helping you to be a better person. Those areas of weaknesses, I'm helping you. So basically, when all these things, we understand that all these factors matters. Don't go to, you don't you are not keeping malice with a partner. I mean, I'm not talking to you, you're not talking to me. We are assuming things. Suddenly we become mind readers. Maybe he's, he's
True. You're
saying,
very
he
correct.
might, he thinks and then resentment begins to build. You are not talking,
True.
I'm not talking. Resentment is building, is one thing leading to the other. And then by the time it
We
gets,
know
things
it.
fall apart, like they say, the center can no longer hold it.
The
And
whole.
then everything scatters. So
Wow.
the answer to our question, the impacts of personality traits and communication, they are key to a successful marriage. These are things that also, when you look at it in terms of communication, there are some cultures that will, for those cultures, a woman should not, the way a man is elevated, a wife should not, when her husband talks,
Talks. You
she
don't
should
talk
only
back.
listen. You don't talk back. I mean, that's not, it can't work for a healthy marriage. You only have a woman who is, well, she might stay in the marriage, like for the sake of the children or for something, but there is no joy or personal
True.
satisfaction
True.
in that marriage.
True.
So the issue of culture, the issue of certain religious, or you say because of my profession, if my husband, this is this, you find certain things are coming, all those things, that mutual respect and the rest is not there. In communication, you feel you can talk
Can
anyhow.
just talk
I mean,
anyhow.
the way I would talk to, maybe when I'm cross-examining somebody on the dock in court,
Oh,
I can't come and
to
cross-examine my
talk that way
husband like
to
that.
my husband. Yeah.
Sometimes, there's always the temptation of, but you always have to remind yourself that, oh, this is this. So all these things are key. If we understand and we are willing to work on these, then
True.
you have a healthy marriage where all the parties, both the spouses in this marriage or marriages, as it may be, will
I,
have
I was,
personal satisfaction.
Thank you. I was going to ask a second question, but even from
Okay.
all the things you have said, it covers it.
Yes.
I was going to say, so what are like the relationship enhancement and enrichment strategies that we can use? I mean, you've spoken about communication, understanding,
Yes.
and all of those things. But you, in maybe 2 sentences, can you just say, can you speak to that?
Okay. Let me just mention them. Certain things that can enhance. For me, number one key for all of this is make a commitment to one another. There should be this positive commitment that this marriage should work. we want this marriage to work. If this commitment is made, every other
Okay.
thing, issues like forgiveness in
Mhm.
marriage will come in. You will not,
Okay.
there wouldn't be resentment and all that. Dialogue, talk about everything. Finances. Finances are one of the major issues we have in marriage, conflicts of marriage.
Mm.
Be open about your finances, be open about your budgets. Don't portray to your wife that you're earning above what you're
Yeah,
actually earning. If she's making
exactly.
demands, that is, there's bound to be conflicts. So discuss about everything, communicate regularly. When you offend each other, always apologize and be sincere
Mm.
about the apology. Don't try
Mm.
to control your partner. Sometimes we
Mm.
try to watch your partner's movements. There should be trust in marriage. If my
Mm.
husband is, I trust him enough to know that as he's going out, he's not doing anything funny. Then space, create
Mm.
space. Even in marriage, as much as you love one another, sometimes you need that space. Create space
True.
for one another.
True.
When your husband feels, look, I need to go and maybe just chill, relax with friends
My own
today.
friends.
Don't be
You
asking
now want
questions.
to drag along.
It does not make sense. Girls'
Mm.
night out too. Your own thing you can
Mm.
do now. Nothing stops you from doing
Exactly.
that. All
Mm.
these things, they matter. So all
Mm.
these things are things that will enhance marriage. If you get
Mm.
to a point where you feel maybe things are really toxic, you can get professional counseling, couple
Mm.
therapy. Try and look at also some of the positive qualities of your partner. What were those things that attracted me to him, or attracted, both
Yeah.
ways? Look at those things, affirm them. Learn to always appreciate the efforts of your partner, whatever
Mm.
positive thing they do.
Mm.
Thank yous are like deposits in the bank. You
Mm.
can't be withdrawing and you're not depositing something. So
True.
all these things are important. All these things matter a lot. If you do all these things, and of course the God factor,
Mm.
at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll find satisfaction in marriage as we keep
True. Wow.
growing in
Mm.
marriage.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean,
Thank you very much.
I love your concluding statement that it's something.
Mediation Training Institute is registered in Nigeria with a vision to create a new African order where peace and harmonious coexistence will thrive, where divisive national frontiers and the burden of military spending and man's studied inhumanity to man will be things of the past. We do this by providing requisite skills and resources for managing differences, for promoting peace and harmonious coexistence at home, at work, and in the society at large, through conflict management and mediation skills training, and the promotion of mediation and other non-adversarial methods of dispute resolution in private and public sector practice. For enquiries, you can call 091 563 11242 or 08031115115, or you can visit our social media pages, Mediation Training Institute, Facebook and LinkedIn at Mediation MTI, Twitter at MTI Nigeria, Instagram. Mediation Training Institute, building peace, creating harmony, sustaining relationships.